of inspiration, empowerment, and purity and truth, releasing illusion, finding ourselves reborn each new moment, showing up in our fullness, honoring the element of air. Thank you, air. With you, we breathe, we exist, we thrive. Let's open our hearts to the energy of the South, the energy of productivity, of action, of passion, energy of fire, of transmutation. Releasing all that does not serve, being reborn like the phoenix to the new. Thank you, great golden sun. Thank you, Seth. Opening our hearts now to the west, the energy and flow of the infinite waters, to the ponds and streams. May all beings have fresh drinking water. Opening ourselves to the infinite flow of our own potential and creation. May we co-create with grace and ease and playfulness. May we honor our community and celebrate as we integrate with gratitude. Thank you, West. Thank you, water. And finally, coming to the north, to our own inner bones, blood, to the foundation, to rock, to earth, to going inward, to being still, to allowing, to endurance, to persistence, to patience. Thank you, earth. Thank you, energy of the north. And coming back now, it's spinning around that wheel of life to the center, honoring all that is above, all that is within, and all that is below. Coming back into our hearts. Let's take a nice deep breath together. Exhaling and inhaling. Let's take one more. Everyone open up your mouths when you exhale if you'd like to release some sound into harmony. Exhaling. Slowly opening your eyes with gratitude and love, because that's what you are. Love you. Go for it, Dakota.
Thank you. All right, so we all made it. Welcome, Craig. Welcome, Lotus. Thank you for joining us here today. So this meeting is a little bit different than traditional. Instead of getting into the headspace of what we're doing, I want to get a little more into the connected head and heart space of how we're doing what we're doing. And I just want to wrap this in a little framework first. For those that didn't see it, and even if you did, we're just doing a general reframing. See if I can get the volume up. Kind of speaking directly to this to start with today. By the way, people are responding really well to this.
Greetings, loved ones. Today, I'd like to share with you a little more about what it means to be a coordinator and why we have coordinators. Coordinators are the center of this paradigm shift. We coordinate, we help organize. There are so many people that want to play and co-create and synergize with what we're doing. However, we actually don't have nearly enough coordinators. I'm getting hundreds of messages a day from people that want to play with us, and I do not have the capacity to onboard anyone else other than who I already have. We have, 5 or 6 coordinators now, and that's really good. It's a really good start. Anyone who hasn't found a niche yet, I would welcome you to become a coordinator. It's not easy being a coordinator. It takes a lot of follow through and wisdom and divine guidance and patience, and emotional balance and intelligence and integrity. However, I see coordinators as like the highest position in the new paradigm. It is the most prestigious and honorable position available because we are leading our people into embodiment of higher dimensional energies. I think that's really what a coordinator does. We help people move past the thinking, past the talking, through feeling, into acting, together as a unified being. So I am working on creating some more structure for our coordinators. We now have the calendar on our home center.
Dude, you moved him. Stop moving characters when you're not Remember, you paid them already?
Matthew, do you have children? Would you like to mute your screen?
I was just doing that. Thanks for joining us, Matt. Good to see you. Very good to see you. Hello. Yeah, you're good. I was just stopping the video there anyway, because after that was more like some other stuff. But so that's like the beginning of a framing of what we're doing here as coordinators. Like, why? And I want to get a little more specific, and I want to talk about some tools here now. So it's a balance, a very powerful balance, where as a coordinator, we have to do a couple of things with each person that we are effectively coordinating with. The first is building a sense of love, family, and trust. It's the first and most important thing that we're doing with every person who shows up into our chat rooms, and especially those that sign up onto a call with us. And that's most easily done just through conversation. I think everyone here who's drawn to be a center coordinator, we already know how to do that. So I don't need to go into that much more. But there's the second step that I see that a lot of coordinator archetypes are need a little help with. And that's where we take this like beautiful, feminine, like graceful, open, allowing, unconditional energy and presence, and we merge it with some masculine container energy. And in this container, we're saying, hey, everyone needs to fit within a certain parameter. And if you're in the parameter, you can be whatever you want. But you must be in the parameters or you cannot be here. And where here is our dedicated work chat rooms, our dedicated Zoom meetings, where we work. You know, anyone can be in the general member chat room, but not anyone can be on a work team chat. And so we have to actually discern as coordinators when we're talking with people and they're showing up to our meetings, we need to mentally, and then literally if we need to, know, like on spreadsheets, like when, like who actually does things and who actually shows up. And literally keep a tally. And when someone has like said they were going to do something like more than 3 times, like X them off and don't think that they'll ever do what they say they will. So it's like if you have a set of objectives that need to be accomplished, don't assign them to anyone who doesn't show up. Also, don't really talk to those people much. You don't necessarily need to ban them from the meeting, but people that I know that don't show up, I don't let them like speak. And that's why we have the mute function and also the kick function when we are hosting a Zoom meeting. And these things don't need to happen often, but I'll tell you, they will need to happen. If you're a coordinator for long enough, people will come to you and they will waste your time and they will blab all over your meetings. And they will also, it's getting into like a slightly darker shade that's less common, but that we've seen 3 times in the last month. Some of them will troll. It's a way of being. It's like, there's like literally millions of trolls out on the internet, and it's like a 4chan culture. And there's like all these people that get together and they just like treat each other terribly and make fun of each other and try to get emotional responses out of one another. And then these people go from these little forums where they learn all these tactics and they self-encourage one another to keep behaving that way. And then they go out across the internet and they look for other forums and meetings and communities to replicate the same kind of behavior. And they basically will deviously, deceitfully lie in the most cunning ways that they can possibly imagine to try to tear us apart. And this actually has brought down 3 stages of the ASC. And there's 2 kinds of trolls. There are entry-level trolls, and then there's like deep-level trolls. And honestly, the deep-level trolls are the ones that tore the ASC apart. And a deep-level troll, we haven't experienced yet in the Earth Nation, but to me, that's someone who actually makes it through the initial boundary layers and they start working with us, and then they start to like show deceitful or ungood characteristics. So that's what we're up against. And the way that we deal with that is by being like a mountain on the ocean. And our crown is up in outer space, and our roots are deep in the earth. And all the trolls and everything and all the emotions and all the good intentioned people who aren't ready to work yet, they just flow around us. And it's really important that we never get emotionally charged about these things. It's really important that we always treat the trolls with love. And it's really important that even the people that just don't do what they say they will over and over and over again, which can get, honestly, that's something that I need to work on a little bit because I feel like they're lying to my face when they do that. And I totally have a small amount of emotional charge that happens when someone lies to my face over and over and over again repeatedly. But that's me. And I'm just encouraging us all to recognize when we are getting charged and just be like, okay, well, breathe it in, breathe it out. And then there's like a baseline fundamental belief that I feel like all of us coordinators should have. And I'd love to know if everyone resonates with this. But it's that everyone is doing the absolute best that they can. And ultimately, people are good people. Do we all believe that here? Yeah? Cool. Just really remembering that even when they're being super crazy to us. And then one other element is we have moderation tools. Use them. And I don't engage trolls. As soon as I identify that someone has a trolling behavioral pattern, they are immediately out. You don't try to talk to them. And I immediately identify it when after 3 times in a cycle, they've escalated the situation. I'll try to de-escalate it. I'll try to de-escalate it. And if it repeats after 3 times and they just keep trying to escalate it, give them a boot. Is what I would recommend as a coordinator. So those are kind of some of the dangers or the obstacles I wanted to warn us about. Moving a little more into positive inspiration and engagement. So one thing as coordinators that we want to learn is that first, when people come to us, they're going to be interested in a lot of things and they're going to move around. And they'll think that they want to do something and they really don't. That's going to happen for almost everyone. That's okay. That's why we give them 3 chances. If they get a couple, and then people that are really good will kind of dig through and kind of do a little bit of things they don't want to do. But really, as coordinators, we're helping people find their niche. And if we're someone actually isn't in this niche, and you can tell, and you'll get a knack for it eventually. You'll be able to feel really quickly if someone actually has a niche for your team or not. And if they don't, you should talk to them about it and maybe suggest that they show up to another niche because we don't want to lose them. But the other end is that there are people that won't fit into any niche and really they just want to hang out. And there's actually a ton of those people that are around, and we have to filter through them. And we want to invite them to participate and to watch. But there's this thing in between what we call our members or our subscribers and our work teams. And we got to identify as quickly as possible if someone's really in a work team or not. And then the way that we do that is whatever results they produce. And then the other part about being a coordinator that is filing a regular report. So as coordinators, we're paying people. Every time we have a meeting, there should be some objectives that we already planned that we have as opportunities for everyone who showed up to our meeting to accomplish. And ideally, the more of them that you can have with the most variety that you can have without confusing people. It's a balance. And I do that personally by stacking objectives over time. But you do it meeting by meeting. And you don't hit people here's 20 things to do. You're here's 3 things to do. Oh, here's 3 more things you can do. Build it on them. But having those objectives and then having the pay rates. And if anyone's curious about how we're paying people, please talk about it. Technically, due to a proposal that passed a little while ago, anytime any of us pay anyone individually, it has to be approved by every center coordinator. So I am basically, I would actually like to hear, we actually have most of our center coordinators here. Do any of you feel like you need to kind of admin on my technical budget in particular? Can't hear you. What was that, Tiana?
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
My question is, do any of you want to supervise my technical budget, or is there a general trust from all of the coordinators that I know what I'm doing when it comes to hiring people in technology?
I have a question. Is there just at least a running receipt, you paid for this server for this weird tech company? You have all these tech things you pay for every month. Do you at least have some running ledger of that to see where the money goes? I don't feel any need to check up on it, but just so we have that record. So, because that money gets spent on those companies.
I record every dollar I ever spend, and they're listed in the ledger. I do it every couple of weeks when I need to, rather than every day. But the payments are recorded in my PayPal history, or my Bitcoin ledger. So it's like it's all there. I just need to extract it, pull it into a spreadsheet. I do that every 2 to 4 weeks. About yes, thank you. Does anyone else feel like I need to check in before I hire or pay for technical support? Yay, that's great, cool. Well, technically, if you wanted to, I would have to let you do that because that's what the proposal we passed. Not fun. Anyway, so in general, I leave it up to each coordinator to handle your department. However, I would like an initial check-in, and basically, if you just compare the rates to what we've already been doing, it's probably a great idea. We want to just kind of make, that's how like court systems and like the whole old world functions. It's a pretty useful mechanism. And then what I do personally is when I'm paying someone, I think about what is a really high paid position or relatively like, upper bracket for this kind of role in the old paradigm. And then I do it based on that. So an administrator in the old paradigm, like badass administrators make $25 an hour. Badass technicians make 35 to 100. In general, I say our minimum per hour should be probably 20 for anything, but really, and then for content creators, it's totally different. It's just based on the piece of art. But like an article, if I were to go pay for one on a website, would be 25 to 40 bucks normally for a regular one. However, it's like not regular to get. Oh shit! It's not regular to get. I don't know of any place where I can buy articles to get into Hub Pages or in5D. If you guys could find a place where we could buy that, that would be a great way to compare what we should pay for those things. And in general, anytime you want anything done by a member of the collective, go try to find it somewhere else for the cheapest possible price at the highest possible quality, and then pay them that much in keys. And basically the basic income is just gravy on top because we want to support our people. Does that make sense for assigning payout ranges? Cool. Likewise, I'm just going to review everyone, and if I notice that there's something that seems like terribly out of proportion, I'll move to modify it. And we can all do that for each other. But it'd be nice if we had a culture of like less like managing each other, more like checking in and supporting each other with the best possible calculations. But that is now part of the role of the center coordinator. By the way, I don't know if we even need to pass this, but basically, literally speaking, right now, Leela and I are the only center coordinators. Now, by all of us choosing to be here, I feel like we can all also qualify. However, I just want everyone to know if you want to be a center coordinator, the requirement is that you're like with us 20 hours a week or more, and that you're hosting a meeting yourself at least once a week on a regular basis. So that is what we're asking of our center coordinators. And ideally it's 2 to 3 times a week. But that is the minimum that I'm asking for you to keep your center coordinator privileges, so to speak. Another thing is I went and I tried to pass this bill that delegated to every center coordinator. So I would like basically dethrone me, because I don't know if you guys have checked right now, but there are 40 people that have delegated me because I recruited them, and I recruited the initial group that like started this pod. So I'm like technically like vote holder king right now. And it's funny because I passed a bill myself to make it not so, and then a bunch of people tried to block it because they didn't really fully understand it. And then I just abstained on it to like have this running joke. Like, I just think it's really funny. I'm like a king, and then I try to deking myself, and then people block it, and it's like, what are you doing? You obviously don't know what's going on. I better keep all the power for a second. But I only have it to give it away, because the whole system is gonna it's all built on that. That's what it's all about. Anyway, whenever it becomes relevant, I'm gonna propose that again, and then as a center coordinator, we basically have 2 superpowers. We are the we're like the Congress, because anyone who doesn't want to delegate or doesn't until they choose a delegate, we all become their majority delegate. So it's a lot of responsibility that we have as a center coordinator. And with that responsibility now comes that minimum requirement that I just shared. And I've yet to make that official, but we will eventually. Cool. Well, I guess I feel like that was a good wrap. Why don't I just open it up and let's just, if we want to talk to each other or like coordinate as the coordinators, if there's anything relevant we have to share with one another, or questions you want to ask, space for that. Go ahead, raise your hand or speak.
Would you guys find it valuable? I went to grad school for leadership and sustainable regenerative communities and businesses. And would you guys find it valuable to have like a leadership training, or do you all feel like you are well embodied in the new paradigm of leadership, or do you feel like it's something you want to hear more terminology or systems around? Just curious if I need to maybe or could build out a little academy, or just even have a conversation with you guys more about what it looks like to lead in the new paradigm, or if you feel like it's all embodied in you and it's not necessary.
Just because we'll be onboarding other people, and would you rather do that training one time or 100 times?
Thank you.
I think we need systems that are like cyclical academies, because we're always going to be onboarding and we will always need to keep onboarding. And personally, I would absolutely love leadership training. Let's do it. Let's get a shared reference for all of us to understand in terms of like words, thought processes, and leadership patterns. And I know that many of us will already have most of it, but this meeting is leadership training, and I would like for these meetings to be ongoing. And we can all share, like, this is a space now for us to train each other in leadership, and however official or structured we want to get with that, like, it's up to us. But I'm all about it. So yeah, please.
Cool. I'll put something together and just begin that, because I already have a lot of that natural content. And if anybody feels something's really important to share into the mix, we'll add it to it. Cool. We can do some downloads and up to the.
Cool. Craig, I really like the links you're putting out. Very cool. And check these out. Yeah.
Yeah, I just had an email come about making a mini course on Teachable. Really, everybody should do a leadership course. We all should be able to lead not only ourselves, but other individuals around us, to be an example to others. Because a lot of people don't have the confidence, and that's what's lacking in our society today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it would be really powerful if each of us could like say the same thing in a different way, and then people could pick their preferred perspective or channel. And then I did mine. You guys can do yours too if you want.
Yeah, it feels like just from this foundational team, this may seem obvious, but we're the ones hubbing the embodiment of the energy as the system fractals out. And so how we're counseling our core team is how, I mean, of course it'll evolve and each person will bring their unique gifts and spin on it, but we get to really decide how we're going to unify our containers from the beginning so that fractals together. So it's a really sweet opportunity for us. What an honor.
Yeah, expanding on that a little bit. It's like right now I am kind of like helping guide and coordinate this particular group. And then one day all of you will do that for another group. And then if we do it really right, and then if we do it this right, we will have created a culture that propagates across the entire planet and will survive beyond all of us. And ideally, if each of you can do this for others and then they can do it for another, we'll have created that kind of social culture that is the backbone of every culture and mega group on the planet, is that kind of fractalizing in the old world, they use up, down, and downline kind of pyramid style things. And ours, I just see a lot more like these little fractal webs like popping out and getting this like so big, and then like explosions, more of them popping out all around. It's like ends up looking like the flower fly. And that's what we're doing ultimately. And we're teaching people a culture of emotional balance too. So that's a third thing coordinators are like, we need to do successfully. First is like trust and love. Second is results. It all comes down to that, or it's not worth like the time for us to integrate with them. But the third thing is teaching people how to feel in alignment with God, ultimately, or spirit, or whatever non-dogmatic word you want to place, just like with the one being that we are all a fractal of. And we help them do that by being like that ourselves. Where all of us together are like one being, and then we're like these different embodiments of it. And like when a new being who was totally alone before comes into that, it's like meeting God in person, and we are that for them. And just like realizing that, and like we're great. Do the best we can with that responsibility and that position we've been entrusted with, and just really trying to care as much as we can about the people who make it through our barriers. Kind of like me taking this time with each of you now on just prioritizing our own inner council, and each of us will be building our inner council. And don't let anyone into your inner council until they've made it through your like these boundaries and barriers of trust and respect, and that they've shown up for long enough. Then as we grow that's what it's all about. Even within the vault holders, there is an inner emotional body and an outer emotional body. Outside of the vault holders, we have like all the general people and their emotional body. Outside of all of that, we have our viewers, or even like our regular viewers. And outside of that, we've got everyone else who occasionally gets our stuff. And I'm not sure, I think maybe a good portion of people in here will be able to resonate with this, but I personally, I feel like my consciousness can leave my body. I feel like a lot of my consciousness is never in my body. I feel like I'm actually like all over the planet, and that I have an awareness and a feeling of what these different groups of people are feeling. And I can go over and like feel like in areas of the world, or I spend a lot of my energy now is actually inside of the Earth Nation and everyone who pays attention to us. So I can feel the emotional body, like the inner emotional body, and then the outer emotional body. I can feel all those emotional bodies I told you about. And the more each of us like choose to align with really deeply feeling and with really deeply investing our conscious awareness into the energy body that is the Tao, that is the Earth Nation, the more we do that, the more we'll feel it too. And it can be kind of wavy and tidy a lot, especially in the subscribers and then the viewers. I actually do the best I can to like kind of be a barrier for that. But especially like if anyone puts their face on a piece of media that we have that goes out to a ton of people, you're gonna feel it. And it's a really interesting effect if you haven't, when there are hundreds of thousands of people that are like looking at your face and paying attention to you and listening and like reading what you wrote, it can like, you feel it. You get like it, and sometimes it like feels really good and actually get really high on it. Like I just taken like a huge amount of hallucinogenics. But then other times it's like kind of crazy and nasty, and it just depends on kind of how hard we're like pushing human consciousness at the time. Because a lot of times we put out there light, fluffy, sweet stuff that people don't think hard about, but sometimes we're like, "There's a fucking revolution!" Like people have a reaction. Anyway, I just kind of went on a tangent on that. I saw you had your hand up, Lila. Something you want to say?
I wanted to just add, everything you said was beautiful, and just it's fun how we're able to, like you were saying, like you go into the Tao, or you feel yourself fractally nodal as you're a piece of this creation, and we're feeling everyone's energies or projections or reflections or desires or wants or distortions, all these things. And then we get to like, what you all do is like then go meditate and source our vertical God source and inner channel and pull it all back. And Dakota and myself and others, then we just are like pulling all my energy back. I'm coming out, I'm going vertical. And then we go back into it.
if it ever gets really overwhelming, going into nature away from everything else and putting your hands on the ground, really, really helpful. Your forehead on the ground as well. And I've seen this happen quite a few times. People fritz out. They get too close to our center and they get a little too integrated, and then it's just like too much, and they like blah, 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 like something weird happens with them, and they like start perceiving things in a broken way, and then they like either eject themselves or have to be ejected. And that's another thing that we'll get to see together if we keep playing this game. But that's another thing as a coordinator that we want to encourage people is like, hey, I see you're getting a little like fritzy there, however you want to say it nicely, and be like, did you meditate today? Do you know how to meditate? Do you have a woods? Can you go to them? Will you accept it as a mission objective from the Earth Nation? And that's something really powerful we have as coordinators, family. It's like we put people on their mission here. And little things like that will go a long way with people that are in our outer council and that want to be in our inner council, or that are in our inner council. What's up, Prism?
We're on a mute off. I actually really like that idea. And if the new platform could support like that type of bounty, like saying, all right, 25 keys, you need to go reconnect with yourself and go meditate. Or if, I wonder if Skylab would do that, where we can assign people quests.
Ooh.
That would be a fun way to gamify.
It would be really fun. We'd totally do that.
I mean, that's ideal. Go ahead. It's ideal. So how do we balance that kind of activity with building our foundation and actually growing our economy with that kind of thing? How do we balance that?
I think that type of thing would just be a small part of our keys budget for team building and team development.
I'd say write an article about it, or I'd say either write an article about it, take a picture of it, and or create a video of it that can be turned in that is quality enough to be like out to our world, like proof of Earth Nation is more than just doing the projects. It's like embodiment, it's important. And I got paid for this. It should be like, I got paid for this.
Meditate.
Sitting at the beach meditating.
I like that, Dawn. Way to like.
That'll probably be a viral campaign, actually. On the beach meditating. I got paid for this on the thing, big lettering. I got paid for join us.
Join us.
That'd be sweet.
Doran, you took the channel right out of my mouth. Well done. I was going to say the same exact thing, pretty much. That's how we balance it. That's how we can make it a permanent part of it. It actually becomes part of our advertising budget. So yeah, it builds up our media. Yeah. We could even have people that do it a lot. As you continue your quest, we'll eventually mail you a sign, and you get extra points for meditating next to the sign that says Earth Nation, blah 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 blah, stuff like that. And yeah, definitely video footage. I would think at least a picture, and we'll say, hey, put yourself on video for 3 minutes, something like.
I was gonna say there's a vacation travel company thing, membership fund thing, where their sign says you should be here, and that's a global viral sign now. So we could create our own fun global viral one sign that all of us take with us whenever we're doing anything Earth Nation. It's got Earth Nation on it, and then it's something really catchy and viral every time.
Cool. What's up, Prism? Thank you, Doran.
This idea ties into something I write about in the book, which is about the gamification. And one of the ideas I pitch in the book is that when someone first joins the new civilization, that there's a series of quests that they have to go through in order to fully understand the big picture of what we're accomplishing. And it's quest after quest, and things that actually get good bounties. That they're incentivized to do it because there's an awesome reward. And so being able to build that in earlier as just a member of Earth Nation, before we have cities and such, that would be pretty cool. That would be a great way to get people to sign up for the various marketing initiatives we have, to join a team, et cetera, if we had a gamification model step-by-step for them to walk through.
You got it. That's exactly where we're going with this. And at some point, we'll like make it say like you have to complete all the quests to become a vault holder, or even like to be a coordinator, all these other steps. And we might even put a rank before a vault holder eventually. And the other thing I wanted to say is that that kind of thinking, Prism, that gamification thinking, is something which all of our coordinators should have. And as we are making, so as a coordinator, we're making a team, right? We're getting like all these humans, and we're like getting the humans to do something that's good for the planet, it's good for them, and it's good for us, right? That's what, to me, that's the parameters of a coordinator. So beyond just that, though, how do we make it into a multi-tiered, stage-based process where our members are constantly given more and encouraged and inspired to play with us more? And I see you, Craig. Just give me a moment. I'll finish. And the ambassador sharing program I set up is like my example of that. It's like when you go through the program, it's now an 11-day program, and it's a drip feed campaign. And it starts with you just making sure you join the ASC. Then it starts with you doing just a Thunderclap, one-time share. Then it starts, and there's like a dozen ways you can share information. Then there's a way where you can automatically share posts, but you can also audit them and check every one of them. Then there's a way you can trust us with just automatically sharing posts. Then there's even a way for you to, represent other causes other than the Earth Nation. Then there's a way for you to send messages. So it's like just so many different layers. And at every step of the layer, I award our ambassadors more than before. And I'm like, and I phrase it too. It's like, well, first you're just a casual sharer. Well, then you're an ambassador. Then you're a primary ambassador. And then we'll probably make another tier, and I'll call it something even cooler. Like, and that's kind of how we want to structure it. So it's like, how can we create these tiered roles and things? And I see you, John, but I also want to honor Craig, and then you're next. And that was the end of my thought.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest one of the goals of this course I just started tonight actually is to create a website, create a blog, and start making our posts into our blog to build up our presence on the online. So I don't know if that's something we got each member to do. Put them into a training program, starting to build their blog, and then start making posts about Earth Nation, and then adding their own personal, touches to their website to build up something that they can utilize for promotion, for building their own basic income support, and also for playing the game.
That's really brilliant, Craig. And that is absolutely a great upscale for our writers. Like, yeah, don't just write articles. Like, we'll set you up, get your own blog. And then I have a bunch of really cool software systems that our blog writers can use to promote their blog. We can get them free links and hits and tracks and viewers and subscribers, and we can have them auto syndicate from their blog to a whole bunch of other places across the internet. And then the trade-off is if they're doing all of that and we're paying them for it, I want all of their blogs to feed directly to our website. And that's part of how we're going to get ranked on #1 on Google for everything. Yeah. Super smart, Craig. Yes. Thank you. What's up, John?
Hey, yeah. So you're talking about incentives, right?
Yeah.
And how do we get people to play with us?
Yeah.
One thing I really noticed among almost every single person that I've talked to in this collective is the speed at which you get your keys after the work is done. So you're talking about different tiers, right? I'm a patient man. I'm totally cool with how we're doing it right now. But I think when you were saying the tiers, right? How about we create a first tier or a couple of tiers where it's almost like instant gratification? Because we have so many ways to play. It's so easy to earn keys, and people don't understand that. And if they understood that, hey, all I need to do is do this one thing, and I instantly get this exchange of keys for work, they'll be like, oh, wow, I want to do that again. I want to do that again. I want to do that again. And then they'll move to the tier 2 and the tier 3. And then it'll get them to move up the ladder to the more difficult tasks that they will earn more keys that might, do a week to 10-day payout. But the easy ones where it's just create a post, on the Trello board, do these little things. If we can create an automated system, and I know you're working on that, but we need to figure that out. I think that's a good incentive to get people to understand that it's really easy to earn our currency.
Very smart. Absolutely. The one part, so where we're stopped in the automation is that we want an administrator to kind of look over everything and assess it and make sure our systems aren't being hacked or gamified. But basically, I've been running all the reports myself, and that's why I haven't been on top of it. But if we have coordinators who are really on top of it, we can do same-day payouts. And that was probably where we should go, is that as the Writings Guild, we should it should be a job that one of the writing coordinators does every day, maybe even twice a day. You check the inputs, and then you review them, and then you make sure they're sent over to the administrative department. And then we're actually building an administrative department right now, Lotus and I, and we could even have maybe 4 or 5 admins, and that we make sure, and they all get pinged whenever a new form has been started over. And so once an admin gets it, it can be done within an hour, let's say 15 hours out of the day. And we can kind of create that with tight efficiency and tight procedures. And eventually, where the admins need to take it over, I will design a robot, but we need the coordinators to look over certain things. And then the other element is they share something, but here's basically right now we're having an admin check to see if they actually shared it. And then some people don't, or some people put it to private, or no one can see this. So I shared it. So, and actually one day I'll probably be able to build a bot that can track it, but that's some fucking sophisticated shit right there, to be able to go onto someone's page and then scroll down a whole bunch and then identify it. So until then, even the social
What? What about this? To incentivize people to go through the tutorial, what if you get paid 10 keys to finish the tutorial? And at the end of the tutorial, after you click that button, and they've already, created their Waves account, or wait, we don't need the Waves account anymore, right? Because it's in the home center. Once they click and they finish the tutorial, they instantly get 10 keys or something, 5 keys, 10 keys. It's instant gratification. Oh my God, I just earned money by going through the tutorial and learning everything. It's a way to almost, just get them to suck them in to learn with us as quick as possible. And it's not a lot of money to give them 5 keys, 10 keys, but it's that, just a reward for doing it. And it gets that snowball rolling, oh, I want to earn more keys. I want to do this, and it allows them to, because once you have keys, you can now function all the different options within the keys menu. You can buy, you can sell, you can trade, you can do all the different functions. If you don't have keys and you're sitting there working and then waiting a week or something to get the keys, you're not able to play and do all the things, right? So let's figure out the quickest way to get keys in people's hands for doing something that we ask them to do in as easy of an automated system as possible. Those little apps where watch a video and it instantly gives you credits so that you can make a phone call or do something stupid? Well, maybe we can have that kind of a thing set up where at the end of the tutorial, after that final video or whatever, it gives them a reward of keys. Maybe?
Absolutely. And I think that's exactly where we're going with the gamification.
All right, cool.
We can do that for a whole bunch of little things. And I figure we could probably, PayPal, they did $40 for all of their new customers. And I bet we could do something around that.
Tokens are good.
Yeah. Coinbase sets up, you give $10 for every referral that you refer to Coinbase, right?
Right.
to set up a Bitcoin wallet? Why don't we have an incentive to help people get their keys wallet or something? I don't know. Maybe we're thinking too big right now, but
I like
Even just like a certificate. I did a hydroponics course, and after every stage, it just gave you a certificate that you did this part of the course. Here's your certificate, and then at the end of the course, you got all these certificates that add up. I mean, it's only for personal satisfaction, but I mean, it's something we can use that doesn't cost anything,
totally.
and it's still an incentive for somebody to go after something, because it's just that, oh, I got to get that next award, I got to get that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's up, Leela?
Oh no, I was just thinking it's actually super easy. Like when I did the Coinbase, I kept getting those $10, and it made it so easy for me to be like, go on Coinbase and set up your wallet. So to bring new members in for us, I think that would actually even incentivize me to bring more of my friends in. And then that would pay for itself with the reward of saying giving 5 or 10 keys for to go through the academy. But that would actually incentivize me, actually. Sort of an instant payout, simple for adding a friend, just ask them to go through the academy.
We could vote in a proposal where we add a $10 worth of keys, like recruitment for people, after they finish our like initiation, and then have this really sweet, easy initiation where we pay people in some kind of point currency until they complete it, but they're earning 30 points and 50 points, 100 points, 150 points. And then at the end of that, when they've gotten up with enough points, they get something happens, they get a rank up, they get access to something, and they get $20 worth of keys to spend immediately in their system.
Yeah, I was just thinking something like if it's like $10 bonus to bring in somebody, there's something where you give out a certain amount like that, but then the first task once you're in is invest at least this much money, and it's the same amount. So you're giving out and then you're receiving it back. But you're getting everybody in your whole group to promote for new members. And then once all those new members sign up, they invest some money in right away to get the first thing in the Gamify. I don't know. And then they promote for people to come in. And then those people put money right in. I don't know if there's some way to do that. But
I like this idea.
Yeah.
I just don't think we can move too quickly on it because we're going to need the system in place to track it.
It's hold on.
In the ass. Imagine you get 100,000 new people having to pay out 1,000 people, and that's the whole day's
more
work.
admins.
But
No,
create a system. To do that well, we would need a good system.
And maybe it's just $1 referral bonus. It's probably $1 referral bonus per person, but then it's one of the first steps is invest your first $10. And then you're just kicking its ass anyways.
So I see you, John. Just give me a moment. And then I basically would want to wrap that in that you can't turn your keys into cash. You have to spend them in the system if you're given it to them by us. And then the other thing is that this is actually a really, really relevant conversation because now that we've finished the functionalities of the homepage, I'm sitting down with Joshua Bridge tomorrow, which is a very, very high-end designer business kind of guy. And he's going to help me design the interface and the gamification elements. And I'm going to work maybe with Adam Apollo, and I'm hiring a company. It's called, what is it? Well, I don't know. I'm going to actually vet several companies and a couple of freelancers along with the work that we had to actually code out all of this. And having things like this built out, I believe we'll have in a couple of weeks. Actually work remarkably quickly because I outsource for lots of things and have numerous people kind of working on a similar project rather than one dude, which is how a lot of programmers work. And yeah, I think this is some really good information that I'm really grateful for. Thank you. Totally going to bring this to it. And I don't actually think 30 keys per person is too much, or $30 worth of keys, especially if they can't withdraw them. So they can't weaken our ecosystem with it. they have to find somewhere to spend it. And that's actually like a super amazing like behavioral pattern thing that we want. We want people to be like, get them, spend them, enjoy what they got, and get some more. And the other thing I wanted to add is that I'm also seeing that for each of our branches, we're going to create these tiers and these sub badges. And then it's like there's going to be a sense of overall progress, but you have to go into multiple branches, but you get to pick. There's like the investor branch, and like, you know, tier 1, invest $30. Tier 2, invest 200. Tier 3, invest 5, etc. And there's like the Writers Guild, you know, first step, write a blog. Write a blurb. Second step, write an article. Third step, make a blog. And then there's the blah, 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 blah. That's how I'm seeing it. And I'll make it like, wow. You guys ever played it? It's kind of fun. It's got that threaded skill tree. We'll make something like that. It like looks like a fucking video game MMORPG skill tree. And you got to level up, and you got to get enough levels and enough branches to like make it to the next tier, and every tier has rewards. So thanks for helping me formulate all this. It's super relevant. Thank you. Do you have something to say, John?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so follow me on this, right? The key to any cryptocurrency is usability, right? So as soon as we can get keys in as many people's hands as possible, that is ultimately our goal. Because everybody knows the term, the money's burning a hole in your pocket, right? So if you have keys, people are gonna want to spend them. So let's say they get $10 or 10 keys or whatever for going through our tutorial, and now they're raring to go. Now they have this money. Then what we do is we find a few products, like let's say the CBD oil, right? It's too expensive, the $60 bottle, but let's make a $10 bottle, a teaser that people can instantly buy. They get the instant gratification that they earned something, they got something, they can buy something, and then they get an incredible product that they love, right? All you guys love the CBD oil. I can see it on your faces all the time. And then they're going to want to get more of it, right? And then they're going to want to sell it and tell people about it. And then that creates a whole nother level of, wait a second, I did this basic thing. I hardly did anything at all. I watched a few videos. I got paid. I got this incredible product. And then now I'm making money by telling everybody about my experience. I mean, come on, that's like easy, right? So then the other question I had is, do you get notified when somebody completes the tutorial? Right?
Yeah, I do.
So, and you get, and in the tutorial, there's questions in there that kind of helps you figure out what group that they would most likely be targeted for, you think, right? By the questions that you're asking?
It doesn't have quizzes in it. I never built that part out.
No? Okay.
We should totally have that, but we don't.
Because then you can give that information immediately to the onboarding team, and somebody's got to be available to get in touch with these people as soon as they, within 24 hours after they complete the tutorial, and then find the group that they're going to be matched with. Say, hey, I noticed that, you like this or you do this. I think you'd be perfect for this group. And then give them the information, tell them where to go, and say, our next meeting is here, and integrate them immediately so we don't lose them. Because once they start, falling off, that's when it's hard to grab them and bring them back in.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's exactly how it works. Yeah. So hopefully our onboarding team can handle that. I'd say hell yeah. And we can build out a webhook as a Zapier-based automation system very easily that can notify anytime someone finishes it right into your email. So cool. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Smart minds here. Very cool. Nice. Well, anything else? What's up, Craig?
Yeah, I was just going to say, with regards to the keys, if you had two classes, like in stocks, you got to use a Class A, Class B. You can have a Class A key that's used for the training purposes only, that you can't change for cash. It has to be spent in the actual store. And also, there would be a clause put into anyone signing up that if you don't use your keys within a year, if you drop out for Nation, that those keys automatically come back into the pool, so they don't get lost in space I don't know if you can do that.
Totally. If we were actually issuing the cryptocurrency, we couldn't. But the first jump that we're doing now to simplify the process is we're giving them points in our WordPress PHP database. We could totally move those around however we like. In less than a year, let's give them like a month or something. I would think, unless they earn more. I'd say you keep them if you earn more, but if you don't, it's like disappears. Especially because like if we actually let them wait a year, like that $10 will become 100.
Well, that's true too.
So, really cool. Well, all right. I'll run the exact numbers by Paul, who I'm meeting with tomorrow, as well as Joshua. By the way, I'm talking to the Karma International leader here quite soon, and I just kind of wanted to iterate to everyone that we're really on the cusp here of having unlimited financial abundance. I've been fostering some really serious relationships with people who have hundreds of millions of dollars for years. And I myself come from like very, very wealthy family. And so I know what wealthy people think like, and I am family with that, and I am connected with that. And there are quite a few of these millionaires who have been watching and reading everything that we've been putting out for a long time. And we are totally shipping up and like getting to that point where they're going to say yes. And at that point, we literally have as much money as we want to take on, because, you know, investment money isn't free, but it will give us unlimited access if we have plans that are really built out to like take that money and make more of it. But it basically just means we'll be able to act as our own banking credit agency and approve anyone for any sum if we collectively like think that they got what it takes to crystallize their dreams into reality in a way that makes a regenerative business that can return income. So that's where we're at the cusp of, and I think we're a couple of months at most. If we keep doing this, if we keep snowballing, having done this in the ASC before, kind of at the stage we're getting to next, there's going to be a little more tumultuous energy. What we've experienced with these last couple like shakeups, and like those two dudes in the general room and that one dude in our Slack and stuff. There's going to be more of that, and it's going to be really important we just hold the space, not just for ourselves but for everyone, and keep everyone's morals really nice and high. Because as we draw in more success and more publicity, it'll just attract more of those other things too. And if we're able to really ground all the energies in, we'll get to that next stage. And then from there, I feel like that's where our dreams get more exciting. Where we no longer get limited. It's like, oh, we want to do something and we think it's a good idea, and we just do it. And on a personal level, I'm going to start building out a robotic army of little creatures that help humanity. I'm also going to be working a lot on software intelligence. So I'm going to be making AI and robots that help everyone all the time. And that's actually, at the end of the day, what I'm exceptionally excited about. All of this is just kind of how to help me get there with everyone else, so we can have a culture that is good while I create those things. What's up, Tiana?
I have a question that is off the subject. Can I ask it here?
Yes.
Okay. I just got off the phone with my friend that's in the core team for the Holochain technology, and they're looking for a space to continue their work. It's the first layer of the internet system with Scepter, and they don't want to work in the U.S., and I was wondering if we had anywhere outside of the U.S. that we could house them.
Yes. Brazil would be perfect for that. And in fact, one of our old ambassadors, Jean Marie, wanted to start a technology center there, and they loved it. So if these guys want to bring their technology center there, that would be really phenomenal. And I know Arthur Brock pretty well. He's like a friend of mine. I'll just send him a message about it. I forgot. I didn't know. Actually, I thought they wanted to be in San Fran. It's new news to me that they want to be out of the States. I wonder if something happened with their technology development. They're working on the decentralized internet, and Ubuntu tried to do that too. Do you know, you guys? And you know what happened? Their factory and all of their shipments got corporately sabotaged. No one died, but it stopped. Like things would just they come in, and a whole shipment would have been like micro sabotage. So it's like not broken outside, but someone took time and went into every single unit and broke something in it, or shipments just disappear, or like the manufacturer like made them wrong, or like just thing after thing after thing after thing for months until they had to shut it down. So it's interesting having that kind of there's like an adversity energy that's like around the movement that we haven't faced yet, and that I'm wondering if Scepter is starting to get some of that, and that's why they're all of a sudden like, oh fuck San Fran, let's get out of the country. We're gonna ask him about it. We'll see if he'll share. But yeah, also in regards to that kind of adversity energy, they'll fall into the fear of it, and like even in that case use, like no one died. No one in Ubuntu was assassinated. So something is like changed in the game, I think, where if you're not a violent revolutionary, I don't think anyone's being killed unless you are actively like preaching to the world about either free energy or nutrition. If you're teaching people like, oh, cancer is a fucking joke and I have a cure for it, you can't do that online. And I know about that actually because my family comes from a culture of people that like professionally cured cancer with over a 99% success rate, by the way. So if any of you guys know someone dying of cancer, I can make sure they don't die of cancer. And it's actually relatively way cheaper than hospital treatments. Yeah, long story short. Thanks for sharing that, Tiana. Do you have any other questions or anything we'd like to close with?
Get your free energy over here.
Slanging it.
I'm good. We're good. It's been about an hour.
About time. Cool. Should we ohm it out?
It's been really cool.
Let's ohm it out, you guys. Here's to creating a unified energy body that maintains deep connection with the ground and a connection to source, spirit, and all of that goodness. And has good boundaries and membranes so we can keep it feeling really good in our energy super being all the time. Breathing all the way out. Breathing in. I love my family. Come smile.